Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Average Discussion. Thank you for joining me today. This is take two because I started take one, and apparently when I went to either Fox News or CNN News, it cut my recording off. So this is take two. So thank you for joining me here on Average Discussion. This episode is going to be called Grinding My Gears. Okay, things that grind my gears. That's what we're going to be talking about today. So today is Friday, October 11th. It's about 79 degrees here in the Salt Lake City area. Not too bad. Last couple of days were last week's been pretty warm. I know on Wednesday I was at a JV football game to see my nephew play, and I thought I was going to die. It was hot. It was hot. It said 85 degrees outside, but I'm taking that with a grain of salt because, again, it was miserably hot. So that's the temperature here. If you're curious of what if 1,000 years from now society is collapsed and it's rebuilding, and you start doing some archaeological digs, and all you find is the amazing podcast of Average Discussion, right? And you need to know a little bit about what life was like back here. The gasoline, which is what runs our automobiles, which pretty much dictates our entire economic system. You can exploit people for $3.50 a gallon, roughly, for gasoline to operate those. So if you need to know how you can control a population, you build your entire society based off the idea of commuting and transportation, and then you charge them ridiculous fees to operate everything. And obviously the juice that makes it go, the dinosaur juice, you can charge them for that as well. So that's the historical value of that. I think, astrologically speaking, I have no fucking idea. So we're just going to keep going. But this episode is going to be called Grinding My Gears. Now, in take one, I went through and I was looking up some news headlines, and I think that's what messed up the recording. So I'm not going to do that again this time. But what I am going to do is I'm going to kind of just highlight some of the things. Basically, everything was just politics. And wow, what a shit show that is, huh? Crazy to think about. And then also, of course, the other thing in the news, the big hurricane. And don't take this out of context. I do feel bad for those people, but stop asking me to donate. I'm sorry. Look at your administration and the hundreds of billions of dollars and trillions of dollars, whatever it is at this point, that they've given out to other countries, and wonder and ask yourself why they can't do that for you. So, crazy to think about, and I don't really want to get into it. And again, I do feel bad for those people, but it's kind of one of those situations where it's like, we should all have homeowners insurance. We should all have vehicle insurance. And I don't know, maybe if the stuff's not covered by it, maybe that's the bigger problem, right? Maybe we need to look at that. And I do feel bad for people that don't have that, or if you're a renter and now you're displaced because, you have nowhere else to go. I do, trust me, believe me when I say I do have empathy and sympathy for that. Okay. But at the same time, that's why I don't live in a hurricane zone. All right, so grinding my gears, things that grind my gears, right? And one of them is going to be, for sure, without a doubt, my morning routine. Okay, so every morning I stop at this local gas station, okay? And it's called Maverick, and they're pretty popular here in Utah, okay? I don't think they've really ventured too far outside of Utah just yet, but I think they're working on it. But they've pretty much taken over the gas station mafia here. The old mob boss apparently died, which I'm guessing was, Texaco or Chevron. They died. And Holiday and Maverick stepped up, and 7-Eleven's just like, no, this isn't my problem. And they're just staying back, controlling their territories, okay? But Maverick has really taken the push, like, we're going to lead these families to greatness, like, this is our city now, type thing, right? And they've made quite the monopoly of it. Anyways, the one in the town that I live in, it is really located in the best spot for them to make a massive amount of money. So if you're heading into Salt Lake to go to work, which is where pretty much most of us all work, or if you're coming home from Salt Lake where all of us work, it's the first or last one you're going to see. Okay, and in the case of where I live, unless I want to go into town and then back out of town, it's the most convenient for me, right? So I stop there, I get my coffee, and the one thing that always amazes me is the amount of traffic at this gas station, right? And again, it's the most conveniently placed one, in my opinion, so it sees a high amount of traffic. It's going to. But just to get into this, right, let me explain this to you, okay? So you got to drive down this little road that used to just go to some farmland house off in the back there. That's still like a dirt road access there, so you always got to be cautious to see if those people are actually alive and coming out. But then you got to turn right into this thing. There's a few parking spots there, but that's kind of risky to get to. So you basically got to do a 180 turn to come into the parking lot, and then you turn left, or you swing it left. You got the gas pumps, you got the normal parking, right? Well, there's always 1,500 people trying to come out of the gas pumps. At the same time, the 1,700 people are trying to back up. At the same time, you're just trying to get out of the way of the semi truck that's trying to squeeze through you because he's trying to get out of there because time is money, damn it. And it's just a nightmare all the time. You know, I said that, like, that's where the driver's test should be done, because if you can leave that parking lot, if you can successfully park in that parking lot and get out of that parking lot and not, one, crash into anybody or hit anything, and two, not get out of your car and beat the living shit out of somebody, I think you pass. Because it's chaotic every single time. The only time that I've found it to not be chaotic is like 4:10 in the morning. If you're past that, it's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So that's the morning experience with that, right? But then, I go inside and I get my coffee, and I try to get this electrolyte drink that I think I've talked about it on a podcast before, right? But the Gator Light Lemon Lime, 0 sugar. I try to drink that every day because I legitimately feel like it actually does my body good. Okay? So I try to drink one of those every day. And I go to 0 sugar because I already intake enough sugars. I don't need to add to that, right? But I also feel like that makes it a little bit better. It probably doesn't because it's Gatorade, but hey, I feel like I'm doing the right thing, okay? So I grabbed this thing, and I remember when I started drinking it, okay? I never saw anybody buy them. Never heard anybody talk about them. Never saw an ad for it. Now, I'm not saying they didn't exist and that people didn't talk about it. All I'm saying is that from my perspective, never saw that, right? Well, now it's like they're always out of stock. I can get all the sugary ones and the grapes and the fruit punch looking ones, right? But the lemon lime 0 sugar is always gone. And I feel like Maverick is doing that intentionally because they got all that footage and they've got the data of how many times I've been there, because, and I'll get to this in a second, they scan my ID every time I'm there, right? They're doing it on purpose. I firmly believe that. It's, they're out to get me. But either way, so they always seem to be gone. So that's frustrating in itself. Then I get my coffee and I go up, and I've been trying to quit smoking. Okay, and what I determined is that there's certain situations where I feel more inclined to smoke, and one of them is when I'm drinking my coffee in the morning. Okay, so what I've tried to do to supplement that is I said, okay, I'm not gonna buy regular cigarettes. I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna switch over to Black and Milds, the mini cigars or whatever, and I'm going to try to limit myself to 2 to 3 of those a day tops. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, one in the evening maybe, right? Which is probably too much still, but in my mind, it's better than 20 cigarettes a day, right? So this is what I went to, because I identified that as being a problem. This is where I had the realization that if I wanted to buy beer, there's a cooler with a door on it, and it says no one under 21. And you can go in there and you can take your sweet time and you can browse the selection however you see fit. Right? As long as you can stand the cold of the cooler, you can spend as much time in there as you want. There's no verification that you're actually under 21 or over 21, to be able to walk in there. There's just a sign, no one under 21, right? But there's no way to validate that somebody under 21 doesn't go in there, okay? You can grab your beer of choice or whatever, and you can go out to the counter and then just pay like a normal person, right? But if you want tobacco, you've got to go up to the counter, and there's all this stuff on the back wall. And now, mind you, everything's pretty much gone to these self-checkout things, right? So they want you to utilize self-checkouts. Well, to get tobacco, I need them to get the tobacco, right? So you walk up there, and they shut their phone off like you just inconvenienced the shit out of them. Like it's the worst thing you could have ever fucking done in your life. And you tell them what you want. You say, let me get 3 of your Black and Milds. Well, then they turn around And you can't see their face, but you can see their face in the sense that they just have this dumbfounded fucking look on them that they have no idea what you just said or where the hell it's at. So now you have to play the charade, you have to do the explanation game. And you're going to be like, oh, it's the third column from the left, seventh row down, sixth from the right. But if I want a beer, I can just walk in and grab what the fuck I want. But now I have to sit here and I have to educate you on the product that you're trying to sell me because I have to have you to get it because of the way it's set up. But I can go in there and I can buy beer, which, I don't know, nobody's ever crashed their car from smoking and driving. It's always drinking and driving, right? So, hey, in my mind, that's the more dangerous of it, but it's the most lax to get. I don't know. Conspiracy, I'm telling you. But either way. So now they're already frustrated because they have to help you because you're not using the self-checkout now because you have to have them to get it, right? Then you explain it to them, and they always tell you something fucking stupid like, I haven't learned where these are yet. Shut up. I don't care. Like, just shut up. Just hand them to me. Like, we already know you didn't know where they were. You don't need to explain it. It's not a big deal. The bigger deal is that it would have saved us all time and a headache if I could have just went back there and got it my damn self, right? But anyway, then you go to pay for it. And they got to scan IDs now, right? It used to be they just, if they checked your ID at all, they just had to see and make sure that it was valid or whatever, right? And they check the date of birth, they type it in there, and you were good to go, right? But now they got to scan it. Right? Well, the problem with Utah's IDs is that there's two barcodes. And they're pretty much like right on top of each other. So you got some of them, they'll use their thumb to try to block it and like hit the right barcode, right? But it never fails. There's always somebody, it takes them like 7 fucking tries to click this thing, right? And they're like, bloop, bloop, it's just not working, bloop, 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 right? And it's like what is wrong with just verifying the date? That's why I think there's something more to it. I think the state's just trying to collect data, or the federal government, or whoever's just trying to collect data, whatever the case is. But they say I think they say it's because, they want to make sure it's a legitimate ID. How many fucking people are out there trying to buy tobacco with a fake ID? Like, I know the 90s movies tried to tell us that was the thing. Like, you get a fake ID and you can go into the clubs, blah, 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 blah. I saw maybe one fake ID. And I don't even know if it was fake. But they said it was. I saw maybe one. I always found it more easier to find somebody's older brother who's living in their parents' basement, smoking weed, wasting their life away. Hey, go get this guy to go buy the stuff we can't get. That was always easier to me. I don't know. Maybe it was easier for some people to do some super secret spy shit and go get a fake ID. But to me, it just seemed more logical to go ask the pothead older brother of one of your friends. I don't know. Their morals were already questionable anyways. So it's like, yeah, just go ask them. It just made more sense to me than trying to go through the hurdles of, getting a fucking fake ID. So, whatever. But apparently that's a problem. We got to validate these IDs, and, because there's just so many kids. And if there's one thing that I know for sure, it's that if you look at me in the face, I look 14. I must. So, I don't know. To me, it's like an insult to the intelligence of the individual human being, right? Like, and I get it. It's a very small example of that, right? But it's like an insult to us as human beings. Like, if you can't look at somebody and see, like, yeah, this dude's been to, like, he was in WW Nam, you know what I mean? Like, this guy's been around for a minute. I don't need to see his fucking ID. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy. And I get there's certain situations where sometimes, that they look really young, or whatever the case is. I understand that. I understand that entirely. But I think that's a small portion of it. Most everybody else you can tell, at least with tobacco, because I think it's still got to be 19 in Utah, I think. But I definitely don't look 19. I can promise you that. I do. I like to hype myself up sometimes and say I'm still a handsome young man. All right, but I know I don't look 19. All right, it's just one of those things. So that drives me crazy because it makes the entire experience chaotic. And like I said, they're already annoyed because you couldn't use the self-checkout. Well, I didn't design the system, damn it. Let me go. I'll scan my own fucking ID. No. Crazy. Grinds my gears. Right? I don't know if you saw it a few weeks ago. I put on the Facebook and the Instagram, I put this article that was talking about, that nobody really cares if you're late to work anymore. And, and I said, I'm glad I haven't really cared about this, Because I don't think people. I think there's still some people that care, and I do really feel like it's also like not genre. What the hell is the word? I had it. It's definitely based off the type of work that you're doing. I think, if you work in an office setting where people work remotely, especially, like I think people are a little bit more lax in it. But if you're doing construction and stuff like that, I think punctuality is still a big topic, right? But either way, it said that most people don't care about it. That most people are actually annoyed by and frustrated by the lack of people's ability to clean up after themselves. And that I 1000% agree with. Because I can tell you where I work, the way people treat the restrooms especially, it's fucking disgusting. I don't know. Like, why can you not flush the toilet? What is wrong with you? I know your fingers work. You've been playing on your phone all fucking day. Flush the fucking toilet, you piece of shit. Flush the... Oh, man, that is the most disgusting thing I've... like, it's not the most, but it's one of the most disgusting things I've seen. The amount of people that just can't... Like, why the fuck can't you throw the damn hand towel in the trash? Arguably, some places have small trash cans. Guys, I'm telling you, we have the big ones in there. With like the... I don't know, what's the diameter of it? I don't know, 24 inches, 30 inches maybe? From edge to edge. Like, why can you not take this piece of paper towel and put it in there? What is wrong with you? Like... Are we really dropping the ball, raising people that bad to where we can't teach them how to flush a fucking toilet? We can't teach them how to throw something away? And I think it's because we've also, in the workplace especially, we've created this mentality that, it's somebody else's job to clean it, so what do I care? Fuck that. I think we go back, hey, employees got to clean this every day after shift. You don't want to do it? Don't come back to work. You want a job? Fine, we'll give you a job. But hey, you got to clean up after yourself. And I think that's where a lot of businesses went wrong, in my opinion. But that really grinds my gears. Like, it pisses me off so bad. Like, I don't expect anyone to clean my office, right? That's my responsibility. But I shouldn't have to flush your turd that's been marinating in your urine for the last hour just so I can go release my morning coffee. Because guess what? Rumbling in the belly, it happens. And let me tell you, some of the stuff that comes out of these people's body, you guys need an exorcist, not a physician. All right? You guys are fucking disgusting sometimes. I've always had the mindset that I would, in terms of the punctuality, right? Like, I've always had the mindset that I'd rather have the person who's consistently 5 to 15 minutes late, that once they get there, I don't have to worry about them. I don't have to babysit them. I don't have to question the job they're going to do because I know they're going to do an amazing job. Over the guy that's here 35 minutes early, clocks in to get that extra time, and I got to babysit all day. I got to ask them why they're not up to speed on stuff. Like, but they're here every day, so when administration looks at it, they're like, this guy's a model employee. No, that guy's a piece of shit. He sucks. He is trash. I have to constantly go back everything that he does. He's worthless. He'll only do the bare minimum. But we got to fire this guy. He was late 3 times this week. Yeah, but he doubled the fucking output of these people. Well, it doesn't matter. Rules are rules, and we got to let this person go. God, that shit pisses me off so bad. But it was ironic, though, because in that same article, they were talking about, they didn't care about people being on time to work, but being punctual to meetings. Now, that they cared about, which, that's funny, right? But here's why I think that is. It's because nobody wants to be in these fucking meetings anyways. And then they're just like, if I got to be here, you better be on time. Don't make me sit here any longer than I need to because you can't be on time. And it really grinds their gears, right? So I did find that ironic, but something else that really kind of grinds my gears is people complaining about new places. And what I mean by that is like new stores and things like that. So in the community that I live in, we're kind of on this threshold where we're right on the brink of being a booming area in terms of business, I think. But there's still enough smaller communities around it that think that we all fucking have horse property that are really against it, but they still want things though. Like that's the irony behind the whole thing. Like they want stuff, they just don't want certain things, right? And so, for instance, like I was telling you earlier, Maverick has taken over the gas station mafia here in Utah, right? And they're building locations literally everywhere. Like, to put it in perspective, there is probably within I'll say a 3-mile radius of where I'm sitting right now, there is probably at least, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 6, maybe 7 Mavericks within a 3-mile radius of where I'm at right now. Right? That's crazy. Okay, so anyways, so the community I live in, the county, they're building a lot of random stuff, right? And people are always saying things like, oh, we need more gas stations here, or we need another grocery store, we need more places to eat, we need, right? We need all these things. Right? But then we get stuff, right? And in the case of gas stations in particular, we get a new gas station. And they're like, oh, well, that's all we need. Another Maverick. Well, what'd you want? What'd you want? Like, unless you're particular to a specific brand of gas, like, what the fuck do you care? It's a gas station. That's what you said you needed. A gas station. You stop, you get gas, you get your morning fatty cake, and then you take your worthless self on to the rest of your day, right? So what do you care? I'll tell you this much. What I don't want, any more mom and pop's places from that county. I went and stopped. I stopped last night. We had some time to kill while my daughter was doing her basketball training. Went up to the gas station, get a drink after we walked for about 45 minutes. Right? We went up, get a drink, and I was going to get a fast break. I really like Reese's Fast Breaks. I get the drink, I get the fast break, and I was going to buy another Black & Mild. All right? Because this was about, I don't know, about 7 o'clock at night, roughly. Okay? So I get up there, get the drink. They had plenty of lemon lime Gator Lights, just so you know. Go get my Reese's Fast Break. Nada. Okay, no big deal. Get up to the counter. Go to get my Black & Mild. They don't have them. Okay, cool. So I get my drinks and I leave. I go to another, and this was a locally owned gas station, right? Convenience store gas station. So I get back in my car and I start heading back to where my daughter's doing her practice. I stop at another locally owned convenience store. This place just doesn't have gas, so it's literally just a convenience store. And they're milking the money from all the high school kids. They're right across the street from the high school there in this area, right? So I go in there, and at this point, I'm just there for the Black & Mild. I get it. They had them marked up way more than the chain places. So I paid way more than I should have. So I was pissed. I wouldn't say pissed. Like, it is what it is. But at the same time, it's like, that's the kind of shit that I don't want to deal with. I don't want you marketing it up because, you're trying to fund your $1 million house because you only want to have one store and not spread it out and, make more money that way. So you mark everything up. Like, I don't want to deal with that shit. So bring on the Mavericks. Hell, I'll take 7-Elevens. I'll take... the last thing I need is another shitty local burger joint. Nah, I'll take the ones that I know are terrible for my health, but are at least affordable and fill me up. You know what I mean? Because I don't need to spend $15 on your shitty fucking food to just feel sick because you undercooked it or something, right? I'll take what I already know. Yeah, it's funny, because it's like food restaurants. Oh, that's what we need. Another such and such. Well, shit, man. You don't like it, go start your own. Like, you say we need more places to eat, but you're never happy when they're coming. Oh, we need more. There's no affordable housing. Okay, let's build some townhomes and apartments. Well, we can't do that. We're a small rural community. Bitch, no, we're not. No, we are not. 74,000 of us fucking commute to Salt Lake every goddamn day for work. Like, there's nothing small about us. Get that out of your head. And plus, if you're that concerned about it, stop having 17 fucking kids. For goodness sake, man. Like, you can't even take care of the 2 you had anyways. You're running crazy because you're... Nah. That was a bit excessive. I apologize. It really just grinds my gears. Like, no, we can't build townhomes and apartments. Then shut up. Shut up about affordable housing. Right? At least when I say it, I support high-density housing. I understand that there's a need for it. There's people in our communities that don't make the same amount of money as others, and they need places that are like that. And we keep adding to the population. We can't be pissed off when the population grows, right? Oh, we want our land valued high. Oh my gosh, why are people moving here? Are you retarded? Like, that's why they're moving here. So, man, I don't... It's crazy. It's crazy. It grinds my gears, man, I'm telling you. But by far my biggest gear grinder lately has got to be traffic. It's got to be. Because like I said, I commute into where I work. Everybody I know, for the most part, commutes into where they work. We all drive on the same road. And like I said, there's like, I don't think there's 74,000, but I'm pretty sure it's Twilla County sitting around 70 some odd thousand people in it. And at the moment, the only way to get to the Salt Lake area is via I-80. And so there's like 2 roads that can join, well, so I-80, and then there's a road that conjoins on there. But you got basically like 3 to 4 communities that are larger, that kind of converge all in this one spot. And it's fucking chaos. What seems like every single fucking day. It is insane, right? But I-80 is like 2 lanes on each side. So 4-lane highway, but it's 2 lanes. And so what you end up with is a lot of people hogging up the left lane, which is a passing lane primarily, right? But they're staying there because there's semis in the right lane. And the semis are going to like 70 miles an hour. The speed limit is 75. So the people in that lane are going like 72, 73, because they can't even do the fucking speed limit half the time. And they refuse to get over in between the gaps of the semis because they're afraid they won't ever be able to pass again, right? So it's super annoying because I drive fast. I'm not, like I said on the post earlier today, I'm not asking you to speed, right? Just asking you to get the fuck out of my way. Like, you know you're not driving as fast as I am. So move. Because I wasn't there when you looked 3 seconds ago. Now all of a sudden I'm in your rearview mirror. You know you're not driving faster than me. And I take the opportunity to get over. Let me pass you and come right the fuck back. I don't really care what you do after that. But get out of my way. Get out of my way. It drives me fucking crazy. You know, because like I said, they're afraid that they won't be able to pass the semi that's a quarter mile up the road. So we all end up in the left lane like ants going 77 in a 75. And 77 if we're lucky in a 75, you know. And people are okay going 5 over because they consider that sufficient. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, I'm speeding too. I'm doing 5 over. Okay. Get off my ass, buddy. You need to leave for work earlier if you don't have enough time to get there. That's not why I'm driving fast. I just want to drive fast. I don't care. Like, I'm willing to pay for the speeding ticket if I get it. It does not bother me, is what I'm saying. So move. Drives me crazy. And then they wonder whether there's like an increase in road rage incidents. It's like, fucking move. There won't be. There's nothing more frustrating. And my favorite game that they like to play is they like to play the game of like, oh, you've been riding me, and now one car will finally get over, and they start taking off like they're going to go fast, right? And they'll go up to like 90, right? And you're like, hell yeah, now we're moving, hell yeah. And then they'll get over, and then oh, you didn't really want to go that fast. Or they'll wait until you're in the right lane trying to pass them, and then that's when they want to start speeding up. Okay, well, you want to play this game, you little shit? Let's go, and I'll hit it. I don't care. Let's see if you really want to go that fast. And what I've determined is that they don't. They don't ever want to go that fast. They hit 90 and they start getting scared. So whatever. No big deal. I'm not asking you to drive like I'm driving. All I'm asking you to do is get the fuck out of the way and start pretending like I'm the dickhead here because you're going under the speed limit anyways most of the time. Because that's really what happens. You know, especially coming into the town that I live in, it's 65 miles an hour on that road. And again, most people are okay going 70 because they're okay with the 5 over cushion because somebody told them at some point in their life that the cops won't pull you over for 5 over. But I know that there's somebody who has at least listened to a few of those, and she found out the hard way that they will pull you over for 5 over. But most people are under this impression that like 5 over is deemed acceptable, right? So they'll usually go between 65 and 70. But it never fails, and it seems like I said, every single day, there's somebody going 55 and a 65. And then there's this area that you approach up to it. And when they were first building the road, like, it was a nightmare when they first opened it up. Like, but a couple people died, I think, because people were like, well, I haven't had to stop there my entire life. Yeah, well, the big red fucking sign that says stop kind of means you got to stop now. But, everybody was operating off of muscle memory, and there was, unfortunately, some devastating accidents there, right? So now, people are, like, conditioned, because there was this temporary period where they had the speed reduced through there while they were doing some stuff, and it was 55, I believe, right? So now they're all conditioned to just drive 55 miles an hour. But the speed limit's fucking 65, right? So you're on them. And then you can see them in their mirrors. They start getting pissed. They're like, why is this person riding my ass? Because you're fucking driving 10 under, right? But then you get into town, okay? And the speed limit goes from 65 to, I think it's 50 and then 40. I could be wrong. Maybe it's 55, but I think it's 50 and then 40, right? They'll do 55 and then 40. So let me get this straight. Let me see if my fucking gears are rotating here. You're okay going 15 over in a somewhat residential location, but you won't do the fucking speed limit on the open highway. That's why road rage is getting higher, you know? But you know what's equally frustrating, though, is the semis that'll pass each other in those high traffic scenarios. In the high traffic scenarios, like, when there's both lanes are just jam-packed and you got the semi just like, I gotta get over and pass this truck, and he cuts everybody off and creates a fucking, everybody slams on the brake because, he's going 70.5 miles an hour trying to pass a truck that's going 70 miles an hour, and it takes them fucking forever to pass each other, and it just clogs everything up. And they're like, well, it's harder for us to get back up to speed, or it burns us more fuel, and we gotta, fuel economy and this and that, and time is money. I don't fucking care. I don't care. Because you know what? Hey, the companies should be figuring that out. And if, you can tell me all you want, like, oh, that just means everything's going to be going up in price. Yeah, it probably does. But guess what? It all fucking goes up in price anyways. So at this point, I don't care. Stop inconveniencing us. Just stay there. You see that there is a shit ton of traffic. Just relax. It's eventually going to clear out, because I'm sure as a truck driver, you've seen as you get closer to townships and cities, traffic increases and then it opens up. So like, if I've recognized that as somebody who just drives for football games, I'm sure you can recognize that as somebody who drives professionally across the country. So just stay there. Just stay there. Like, it's so fucking annoying. It's so annoying. And arguably it's dangerous, because like I said, they'll cut people off because they're like, I turned my signal on. It's your job to let me over. No, it's not. No. You change lanes when you have an opportunity to change lanes. It's not my job to let you over. It's a convenience. It's a courtesy, if anything. But when you just fucking come over because you feel you're entitled to it, well, that's a different story. Traffic really grinds my gears, man. It's like, it's so strange to me, because it's like being in a left turn only lane. The only thing I can do from this lane is turn left. Why the fuck, dude? I'm not going to use my signal. Why do I need a signal? I'm in a left turn only lane. Everybody should know that. Well, it's for the cars behind you. Well, they're in the left turn lane only too. Like, do they not know where I'm going? The only thing I need to signal for is if I realize, oh shit, this isn't the street I need, and I got to get back over into the regular flow of traffic. Then I signal and let people know I'm coming in, right? It's crazy. Yeah, traffic definitely grinds my gears. It grinds my gears that I got to be concerned about things like arch support in my shoes all of a sudden. That fucking grinds my gears. I don't know where that came from. Like, what kind of sick joke is this? Nothing has changed in terms of like how I live my life. I walk pretty frequently. I'm not the most active, but I try to be active, right? My health habits are pretty much the same. Like I said, I am trying to quit. So I haven't had a regular cigarette in over a month. And I have had these cigars, but like a regular actual cigarette, I haven't had one of those in over a month, right? But now all of a sudden my fucking feet hurt. And I got to start looking at the soles of the shoes. Pisses me off. I'm not happy about that. Fake support in terms of like sport parents. That's really started to grind my gears lately. The ones that pretend to be team oriented until something goes bad. Then all of a sudden you see their true colors, like those people. I hate to break it to everyone, but we live in the same community. Sure, some of our houses are nicer than other people's, sure. But look around you, all your high school glory you got the same neighborhood as everyone else. Chill out. We all work fucking labor, dude. Just chill out. By all means, support your child. I'm not saying don't support your child. What I'm saying is don't turn on the entire team because your child's not getting the glory that you think he's deserving of. That's what I'm saying. That's the fake support. I don't know. That shit's really grinding my gears. And that's obviously a result of what I've, the sports venture thing that I've tried doing on the side here, right? Which that is also leading into my final grind my gear thought for the day. So I haven't figured out how to get this thing to the next level, this podcast thing. Because I guess I don't want to get too deep because I'm going to grind my gears thing, but I think it's because I don't think I've really identified what I'm looking for out of it, I guess. So I'm kind of just winging it, I think. Yeah, but either way, I started doing the sports thing on the side, the high school sports stuff, and I really enjoy it because I really enjoy watching football, man. And like, especially at the high school level, I didn't know how much I was going to enjoy watching it, until watching my kids do it, and I'm super on board with that. I really enjoy it a lot, and I like being supportive to the youth, giving them shout outs and letting them know that people give a damn about the growth that they're doing, right, and the effort that they're putting in. I really do enjoy that, but it's fucking grinds my gears because I started doing it, and there's other pages that do somewhat the same stuff. I don't think they're as individually based like I try to be. I try to stick to the 3 schools in the Tooele area, right? These guys are a little bit more broad, right? But one of them literally started doing, I make my own graphics. I do all that stuff because I don't want to get in trouble for stealing other people's shit, right? These fuckers stole my idea. Stole my idea of putting the points out there and the yards per game type stuff, things like that. That's cool. One of the bigger ones, they decided to potentially bring back a podcast. They used to do it, but now they're potentially going to bring it back, which is annoying as fuck because that's all I really wanted to do, was just a podcast. I don't mind making the graphics and things like that, but I want to talk about it. I want to have a conversation about these games. I want to be able to verbally express support for these young men, right? These young athletes. And they've got a huge following, so they'll definitely be successful with it. And I'm not knocking them for having a huge following, by the way. Like they've done the legwork to get to where they are. I'm not mad at them for that at all. It's just grinding my gears. It's frustrating. You know what I mean? So like I know what I'm doing. It's a good idea. I just haven't figured out how to take it to the next level, and so I'm pissed at myself. You know what I mean? I'm mad at myself right now, and that grinds my gears. So I want to know what grinds your gears. That's what I want to know. I'll put that question up on the socials. Be sure to answer it. I hope you enjoyed the podcast, guys. I know it's been a while since I've done one. Don't really have a good reason for it, and I never do. Never do, and I don't know if I ever will. But here it is. I hope you enjoyed it. Grinding my gears. I think I'm going to do this episode. This might become its own episode. Grinding my gears or grinding gears. I'll try to come up with something creative, but I don't know if you guys noticed this or not. I'm not exactly the most creative person. What I will say is I don't think a soup can is art. But either way, I'm not creative. Okay, so hopefully you enjoyed it. I enjoyed getting some of this stuff off my chest. I think it's a little bit of a different approach to what I've been doing recently and in the past. I was trying to be more structured, but I don't know if structured is the way to go for me. I think I just need to rant. And get things off my chest. So that's where I'm at. I do have a little bit more in-depth podcast planned, but this is grinding my gears. Maybe I'll just change the entire name to just grinding gears or something like that. I don't know. Who knows what I'll do? I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what you'll do. But as always, guys, hey, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Please take care of yourself, okay? Before we get into that, you can find me on the socials, Facebook, Instagram, X, formerly known as Twitter. There's no need to say that anymore, but I feel good saying that, right? You can find me over there in those places. The podcast should be on Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Spotify, normal places, Amazon Music. It's just not on Apple because Apple's a bunch of SOBs over there. And I just gave up on trying to figure it out because it shouldn't be that fucking complicated. That grinds my gears. So, anyways, as always, guys, please take care of yourself. Please take care of each other. And until next time, I'm out.